Hello and welcome to Herein Lies the Peace of God in the Awakening Together Sanctuary. The Awakening Together Sanctuary is an assembly of equals joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self. Within an appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols, we seek to discern one truth and to rest in its embrace. The host of Herein Lies the Peace of God is Reverend Jacquelyn and Glen, the President and Minister of Awakening Together. Our co-host is your favorite anarchist preacher, Reverend Glen Ganaway, Integral Scholar. The Course in Miracles says this about discerning one truth. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God.
Sing glory, glory, hallelujah. How wonderful thy holy name. Now I can see with God's own vision, and I see peace instead of pain. Yes, I see peace instead of pain. I can see peace instead of pain.
Wee doggy.
I rely on that. I wouldn't know what I would.
I know I try not to do it every week, but there I go.
Tell you what, I am hoping that we can both get pinned. I can replace pin, or
Is that like going steady?
yes, I want to put my pin on you. I want you to put your pin on me.
All right. She says, Shauna says, try again.
Try it again. Okay. Add pin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Herein Lies the Peace of God. How are you this evening, Jacquelyn?
I'm good. I'm good. If this is anything about any indication of what we have in store, buckle up, everybody. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Oh, I know, because we're going to be talking about meeting all these different people, all the different people we meet are going to meet today.
Okay. What? Wait, what was I supposed to read?
We wanted to do this together. I know, this is why we wanted to do this together. It's, you know, he's going to send off we're going to do the next 5 chapters of Luke. You know.
Well, we are scheduled to do the next 5 chapters of Luke, and I got to tell you, and this is a little bit of, you know, how they make the sausage talk.
Okay.
But I think that this is a lot of material to try and cover. I think that we would probably serve ourselves and our listeners better if we just slowed it down a little bit. But
sure, absolutely.
I mean, what are you going to say? I just put you on the spot.
Really, sorry. there's a lot. I mean, there is a lot here. There's a lot even in just the first chapter. So
I know. That's exactly what I was thinking. So why don't you tell our listeners, Glenn, what that first chapter is? Yeah, I agree. Let it flow into contemplation. Yeah, Shauna. Yeah, and maybe we can get some other folks to join with us.
In the room. Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Well, I was just going to invite you to talk a little bit about what you saw in Luke chapter 6, which is on page 136 of Holy Spirit's interpretation of the New Testament.
You know, this is the section called Jesus is the Lord and the Sabbath. So he talks about himself. The part I liked here, the part where it really struck out for me was in chapter 6. The quote is, "Any judgment that you make and accept as a belief in your mind is a mistake." That's how she starts out when talking about how we see the world and other people. I love this. And that you make, for any judgment that you make assumes things within illusion is real, like first step. And within its realness, something is better and more reliable than something else. Because that's what judgment is. He goes, oh, I don't want what I have, I want what's over there. Judgment accepts as real and separates. So all judgment must be of the ego. It's like, really, that almost like the goats and sheep's conversation. You could almost like see it happen in your own mind. You're like going, oh, I'm pulling the world apart with my judgment. I'm literally pulling the world apart and trying to shred the world with my judgment, trying to place all of this together. The thinking mind wants to know. Well, mine does. I can see mine, want to categorize and split up and know it all and dig deep and know the before and the after. And when by doing that, you spend our precious energy and our time on cutting up the world instead of enjoying and participating in its oneness, because that's the satisfying thing. So,
yeah, in fact, somewhere in NTI, I don't think it's in the chapters we're going to be looking at. You may be in Romans, but it calls judgment the building block of illusion.
If you start by dissatisfaction. It comes from trying to, figure out how to manage this discomfort, and so you make a judgment. It's like, and that's how I see it for myself. Is this I come because I don't like how I feel, and how I feel is the result of the way the world is, which is completely upside down with with the way the world actually is, But to be able to, the desire to, there's so much support in the culture and in the world, in the material world, for this judging, for the judgment. It's like what we live in, we make identities around the purchase of items to show others, to express our own identities. We choose things to express ourselves with and share ourselves with others, instead of working or knowing or sharing at our highest levels the presence that we are who we are, what's it like to be around us, and what things we participate in, and the atmosphere we generally create when working. It's this choice of the again and again and again, this choice of the world. Do you want to be in the world that's all cut up and has to be judged and managed and controlled, or are you part of something that already works and you could participate with it? It's beginning to get very, very, very sort of clear to me, and that's where the judgment stems from here. And she goes on, and we are the followers of the path that come from within. We are guided to learn the truth by following the path of unreality. That's what I always say all the time. Just, get out there and do the things, make the mistakes, learn from them, be joyful and grateful that you're equipped to do all of this. No longer, and what in this chapter is the blessed is the he's, and the blessed is the those, and all of that. So in that section where she says, really, I think, or where the Bible really points out the way a society could, look and operate. What would be its values if the society looked and operated that way? And what I pulled out of that, what NTI says, to the degree that you can let go of the world and not be concerned about it, that is to the good degree that you can accept healing. I can't help in this way that I think I'm supposed to if something's wrong. I have to be able to approach being able to help, or be a cooperative component, like Abraham says. I have to be able to approach the world, or you, or us, or a project, and say, I'm supporting what is good, rather than I'm trying to fix you because you're broken. Right? That's the approach any relationship with, I'm going to fix you, or any place that I'm going to repair you, is the other way of seeing, so it's that to the degree that I can let go of the world and not be concerned about it, is to the degree that I can accept my own healing. I'm already okay. I've lived through my own, seeing through my own brokenness, so I don't see the world as broken anymore. Maybe. And she talks about our love for our enemies. No longer is there an I and a you and a them and someone that is separate from you. She gets very poetic in this section. No longer. And no, again, she says this. There's a she makes this. It was so cool. She makes this a reference for being the song. You know, hear this song. You're not a separate note. You're the song. And we did that. I did that. That was the thing with this week. It was like, do you know what you do when you're in a group, you don't know what to do, when you don't know anybody? Listen to the song of the heart that is playing in this place. It was just like perfect. What do you do when you don't know what to do? Go with it and ask what's happening here. You know, listen for what's happening. Listen for, or what the children would say, what's the vibe, man? Listen, you know, the vibe of the heart. Listening to the vibe of the heart, maybe. I don't know. I'm 58. I can say stupid things. Maybe I've learned that. Oh, you know, and so she goes on and does the whole the judgment from others. Everything that you see and that you experience, you see and experience through the filter of your mind. That's why other people are so important, because everybody doesn't have the same filter that you have, and everybody's seeing the things, and that's why we're bumping into each other, and we come together, and you go like, I don't see the world that way, you know. We're gonna put up dukes. It was like, I don't have to defend it, like Leslie, I don't have to defend it because it's not true. I just have to figure out how you and I are gonna work together, what we're gonna do together, you know. What we are together, you know, without, you know, that becomes, the relationship becomes available when I'm not judging you and you don't have to act a certain way. And I'm not putting parameters on how you got to appear or talk or, you know, whatever. That's brilliant. There can be no exceptions. This is always true. The ego mind is a split or is infraction. It's imperative of a viewpoint that is not whole. And that's where I want to live. I mean, the answer is, I'm thinking in the narrow. I'm thinking in the limited and the can't have and the, you know, about to die in the material again. So, the ego mind believes that it knows. Knowledge cannot conflict because it is whole. That's why you can talk with your friends and everybody gets it, because if you're all sharing the same thing, there's no conflict. Because everybody's like on the same page. Ever talk with two geeks that see each other like for anime or something like that? They all get together and they're all totally agreement on everything and they cannot stop talking to each other. You know? And how
like
exciting
bronies.
that what?
Like bronies.
Yeah, like bronies. Of course, you get together. There was like everybody knows everything, and there's anything to learn. There's anything to do, but you are just like, you cannot wait to just be around somebody else who knows the truth. You know what I mean? And it's a joyous experience. You know, there's just this side note, but I say again and again and again, I look at these stories from Jesus that I grew up with as a child. Mm-hmm. And I've even preached them, you know, before, directly out of the Bible and things like that. And then to come revisit them almost 20 years later when I have done this, and to look at the picture of the man in society that's living in it, you know, the way I look at this, and listening to NTI pull he's trying to pull these people into seeing. It's like he heals like 1 billion people in this this 5 chapters. He's going through the hillside healing people like left and right. I mean, and they just sometimes end a paragraph with like, yeah, he healed everybody in the village. You know. So word is getting out, and it's like becoming more and more difficult to move around, you know. So it's like listening to these stories again, about Jesus kind of reminding everybody that they're children of. It's like all these conflict. She isn't acting right. She's not dressing right. She doesn't talk to the right people. How can you talk to her if she's talking to these other people? How much does that sound like our lives right now? Don't talk to her. Why are you talking to her? Do you know what she does? Do you know who she talks to? How much do we all do that?
Which candidate she supports? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fill in the blank of whatever thing, exactly. And this judgment, this shredding of our relationship, this shredding of the perception of oneness, as she's trying to say, you're shredding it with your judgment, and underneath it all is this message of, listen to me. I can steer you through all of this. Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm right here. You're capable. I'm close. We're doing this together. She's holding hands with you through the NTI. It's like, go with me. Listen to me. Very, very, very intimate. Talking directly to me as I meet these people in my life. The sinless woman, and the tax collector, and I sit and I'm here with my friends and my posse, going from place to place. He goes, yeah, he traveled the hills, and he was with the 12, and there were some women there too. I was reading it to Yolanda, and he goes, I think there might be a little bit more of the story here, And Mary Magdalene, I'm telling you, who is famous for having 7 demons removed from her. That's what Mary Magdalene is for. So to be able to, why tell all of that? Why would you say, oh yeah, all this? It's because it's like it matters not what we appear in the world as. It doesn't matter what you can, you can't look at somebody or see somebody or know something about somebody, or much less ourselves, and say, I got you figured out. I definitely got you figured out. Because, I can tell by the flag you have in your biography. I could tell by, all kinds of things, your accent and everything. I know everything about you. And she says, you do this. You already do this. Admit you do this. Listen to me in every single thing, and bring every little petty thing to me. It's marvelous. She winds up the first chapter with reminding you that the reap what you sow, and you reap what you sow. When you have recognized that when you have an interpretation, it would be wise not to speak. If you've realized that you've arrived at an opinion about something, know that is exactly what you should not be doing. You should learn that. It's just, I think it's like getting onto your mind. It's like getting onto who's reliable in your own mind.
That's right.
Share your interpretation with me, expecting that you are wrong, because you have seen and believed without knowledge. In such humility, you can let go of your interpretation. You will see that it is nothing of value to you. And what you receive in its place, you will extend. And that which you share, you shall be peace and restfulness. Who doesn't want to hang out with somebody who goes, I love hanging out with her. It's just so peaceful and restful when I go over her house. Unlike, it is hanging out with him, chaos. And she ends it with the story of the wise and foolish builders, about building on a good foundation. This is why you start with what is true. You study what is true. I am the Lord because I am knowledge. To listen to me and to practice what I say is to find true peace that cannot be shaken, because it is knowledge. It's like that true, that love is surety. Love, like last week, love is surety. It is that compelling voice, the voice that says, don't go in there, and you're like, I'm not going in there. You're sure. You hear the voice and you're sure. She's trying to get you to get to that place where you are having that conversation where it's normalized. That's what I heard a lot in chapter 6. What did you hear in chapter 6, Jacquelyn?
Thank you. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you for your share. It was quite entertaining. It was. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of material here. As we saw, as you went through, she starts with judgment is the way of looking at the world and deciding what is good and what is bad, or what is right and what is wrong. So you think you can judge what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong. And Holy Spirit says, I want you to forget everything you think you know. You make judgments based on rules that you have made up, cobbled together, adopted, but you can't judge because as we find out later in the chapter, everything that you see and experience, you see and experience through the filter of your mind. True knowledge is beyond what you think you know. Is beyond human knowledge. You cannot judge what's going on. Don't even try to judge what's going on. Ask me to judge for you. The only valuable judgment here is to give up all attempts at judgment. Is to recognize that you're unable to make any judgments on your own. Let me just say that in the recent retreat, 5 Unexpected Pathways to Wisdom, we talked about judgment. We spent a day on judgment, at least. Regina defined, for that retreat, she defined judgment thusly. A judgment is an opinion that you turn into a conclusion. An opinion that you turn into a conclusion, which of course takes us right back to everything you see through the filter of your mind, right? So you have opinions based on what you think you know, and you turn those into conclusions. She also defined opinion for us as a point of view formed about something, not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. Right? So we have these opinions that lead us to these conclusions, all of which are wrong, because what's really going on is beyond a human being's ability to know. So the only thing that we can do is to trust and surrender. And she says that explicitly in here, and it's kind of funny. Once you figure out that you've got an interpretation, which if you're looking at this and figuring it out based on what has happened in the past and where you've been and how this has happened that's all interpretation. It's all interpretation. And so she's recommending or Holy Spirit's recommending that when we recognize that we're in interpretation, which will be 99.99% of the time,
do it.
Once we recognize that we have an interpretation, give it up. This whole chapter is teaching the loving all method.
Okay.
This chapter is talking about how everything that is happening is perfect, exactly the way that it's showing up, even if it's showing up as tortured puppies. Yeah, right. Yay. I know it's terrible. It's hard to jump into that deep end, but it's all perfect. It doesn't need to be changed by me. If it's mine to do, then I will become aware of that. But I don't go, this is bad, let me fix that. And while I'm fixing that, let me reach over here and fix this too. I mean, that's what we do. We want to go, okay, I'm a spiritual student. What would a spiritual student do? What's good? What's bad? What did I learn in Sunday school? What did I, we want to figure it all out and fix it. And that's not what ours is to do. What ours is to do is go, what would you have me do now? What would you have me say and to whom? That's where this is. Recognize that what's going on in the world, what's going on with me, what's going on with my brother, is perfect. It's perfect. And Holy Spirit tells us that because it says, I ask you to look at the world different. This is verses 27 through 36. I ask you to look at the world differently now. Page 137. I ask you to look at the world differently now. No longer accept that there's a you and a them who is separate from you. This is the view the ego has of the world. My view is that the world is all one song with different notes played in harmony. Even the wackos are over here, you know, they're singing in harmony, right? Right. So my view is that the world is all one song with different notes played in harmony to create the one. It is the song that is cherished, not the notes. And the song is being played perfectly by me. You hear that was intentional, okay? The song is being played perfectly by me. That does not need to be changed. It's not for you to change the And the song is being played perfectly by me, who is the director of the music. If you look at the song from my point of view, you see its beauty and perfection. Not just to those folks out there who are doing right. Oh yeah, you're good. You're good. That's all perfect. Y'all, the rest of y'all. No, that's not how it's all perfection. It's all perfection. Whether or not we can see this, we can see that. And Shauna, you might remember I told you about an experience that I had on one of my trips back here, driving back, and it was just a real mystical experience where I went, I just got, it's like just the beauty and the ugliness and the trial and the error and the blah, 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 blah. It's all gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is the play of being, and the way it's played, exactly as it's played, is perfection. Is perfection and its beauty. And that's what we're being encouraged to see here. It's perfect. Exactly the way it's played. Remember that you are not the note. Because it's the note, we're going to go, well, let's see. I have a job to do to fix this world, and those people who are messing those bad notes, I'm going to fix all them up. And that's just not what it is. Remember that you are not the note. That is a distorted view of the music. We are the one song as one sound together. Absolutely nothing needs to be different. Now, in my personal life, oh man, boy, does she need to be different? And does he need to be different? And does that thing need to be different? And does that? And that creates a seeming lack of peace. So if I'm experiencing a lack of peace, it's because I think I'm a note, a separate note from that one over there, and from that thing over there, and from this occurrence. I am not surrendered, because if I surrendered, Holy Spirit would go, what do you mean? What's the problem? Show me the problem. I don't see a problem here. Love the entire song, every aspect, not just the good ones that we judge as good. Every aspect is equally important to the whole. Every aspect valuable and cherished for its part in it. Cherished for its part in it. Even the puppy killers, cherished for its part in it. It just is. It just is. There's only one thing going on here, and it's fabulous all the time. Share the perspective of the song by seeing yourself as the song, not as opposed to you, not as opposed to puppy killers. Identity is the song. Right? You see the whole song. Share the perspective of the song by seeing yourself as the song and by loving the entire song, just as it is, without judgment or desire that the song should be played differently. ego mind thinks something different. Ego mind thinks something should be happening. Something else should be happening other than what's actually happening. And ego mind sees it's righteous. It's righteous in its belief that something else should be happening. Because it knows, but it doesn't know anything. It doesn't know anything. What there is to know is beyond its ability to know. Everything you see and experience, you see, and this is the bottom of page 138. Everything you see and experience, you see and experience through the filter of your own mind. In order to find peace, right? This is what we're all in it for. In order to find peace, one must abandon interpretation and remember knowledge. This is the process of learning that I lead you through. You are learning that you do not know. You interpret. This, and here's the good news. This enables you to step back from conflict, knowing that your righteous interpretation don't mean nothing. This enables you to step back from conflict and knowing that your interpretation is nothing. Let your interpretation go. If you get this, if you get, well, I can't believe, if you get that no matter what you can't believe, that's wrong, you know, whatever your righteous interpretation is, that it's wrong. Oh my God, you're inviting peace. You're absolutely inviting peace. Now, that doesn't mean that if you, stumble into the lair of a puppy killer, you won't stop the guy from killing the puppies, right? Nobody's saying that, you let babies get run over by cars, right? You run out in the street, you pick up the baby. You stop the puppy killer. But that's not what's being said here. There's no, how dare you? You shouldn't have. There's one song. It's being played. It's being played in perfection. What we're being asked to do is to remember knowledge by letting go of our righteousness. As interpretation is released, knowledge can be given. Knowledge is peace, since knowledge has no conflict, because it is whole, W-H-O-L-E, and it is truth. And then it goes, look, just in case you're not clear on this, if you think your brother's wrong, guess what? You're wrong. Because your brother cannot be wrong. Of course, your brother's doing the same thing that you are, which is seeing through its ego's interpretation. That's right, through the filter of your mind. Exactly right. But when you see whatever you think is going wrong with your brother, with the other guy, bring it back and going, wait. It's what? Wait, it's me. Wait, it's me. It's always me. You will speak from your interpretation as long as you believe your interpretation. So when you recognize that you have an interpretation 99.99% of the time, it would be wise not to speak.
If you want to be wise.
Only if you want to be wise.
If you want to be wise.
Do not fight for an interpretation that is meaningless, for meaninglessness brings you nothing. And how many times, Connie and I were just about this, and God knows I'm struggling with it in my personal life. No, oh no, I'm right. Look, I was there when that story was told. Okay, you got all the facts wrong. Let me explain to you how this really happened. What are you fighting for? That will not bring you peace ever. Again, do not fight for an interpretation that is meaningless, for meaninglessness brings you nothing. It gains you nothing to have it. So who gives a rat's ass you were right? Right? That and $5 you get a cup of coffee at Starbucks. When you notice that you have an interpretation, take a break from what you see. There's your yeah, but that's your sign. That's your sign. Take a break from what you see. Seek quiet time with me. You can do it when you're sitting across the table from somebody. Mm-hmm. You can just, you can nod politely, right? But seek quiet time with me. That's the time. somewhere in here in NTI, it says something about the harvest occurs in every moment, right?
Oh.
That's the time. Not after the fact when you get home, you go, oh gosh, I wish I hadn't fought for my interpretation so much. I mean, that'll do too. You can still take it back, but it's more helpful probably in the moment. Seek quiet time with me and share your interpretation with me. And we talked about this on Sunday about writing stuff out, right? Well, here's my interpretation. They should know that blah, 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 blah. It's all crap. So share it.
She even said, don't worry about nagging me.
I love that.
It says, don't even worry about being a nag.
You can't be done.
I just wanted to put that, like, how casually she means exactly what Jacquelyn just said. Really, you know.
Yeah, anytime, all the time. 24/7. So, seek quiet time with me and share your interpretation with me. Do not share your interpretation as if you must be. Can you believe what that woman did? Do not share your interpretation with me as if you must be right, expecting me to support you and lead you to the righteousness of your way. Because that's not it. This is the boat entirely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
share
don't tag me in. Like,
right, don't tag me in. I ain't getting in there.
Don't tag me in.
Share your interpretation expecting that you are wrong. This is what I see. This is what I'm feeling. I'm upset. Share that expecting that you are wrong, because you know that you've believed and seen without, let me just read it. Because you have seen and believed without knowledge. Know that you're in interpretation land. Know that you're seeing through the filter of your mind. Know that you're listening to the ego. And go, Holy Spirit, Father, inner wisdom, what would you have me see here? What would you have me see? And odds are you're going to hear something like the whole song. None of this means anything. You might hear, it's okay, just breathe, right? It says here, in such humility, you can let go of your interpretation. You will see, because the Holy Spirit will make this clear. You will see that it is nothing of value to you. You will see that your interpretation is nothing of value to you when you take the pause. You got to take the pause. And what you will receive in its place, you will extend. And that which you share shall be peace and restfulness. So once you've dropped into the heart, once you've dropped the story, you just extend. You're no longer like trying to, muscle in on the conversation. You're no longer trying to get your idea point. You extend what you found when you dropped into your heart.
I know.
And what you found when you dropped into your heart was peace and restfulness. So it says, this is great. Boy, isn't this good stuff? This is really good stuff. Well, don't just talk about it. Do it. Oh, wait, let me read that again.
Is that the fruit of the tree? It's like you have to, and if you want to experience the kingdom of heaven, you're going to have to like act on the principles that you set the conditions for your experience, That's right. You can't, and it is beautiful and it's a great idea, but you're not going to experience the peace if you don't actually practice it. If you don't take the opportunity to go, here's my, oh, never mind. I thought I had something to say, but apparently I don't. And Regina said about judgment, she said, you can take it back. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Cause you can take it. Let's see. Okay. Here you go. She said in the retreat, she said, judgments, by the way, just show up. You don't go, well, I'm gonna, today I'm really gonna start judging people harshly. No, the judgment shows up in your mind because that's the way we're used to interacting with people and with the world. We're swimming in it.
Oh my God, it's all we do.
It's
judge this, judge this.
Like don't blame yourself for like don't beat yourself up for it.
So she says judgments can be taken back, which actually undoes the judgment. But you have to see it first. So you have to be willing to see the judgments that you're making. And then you can simply say, I see that judgment, I take it back. And then that just weaves a tapestry that, you know, that is this peaceful, restful way of living.
And it's very attractive. Yeah, like
That's about all I can say about judgment.
yeah, it's just this is who I mean to be described as, oh yeah, that Glen, restful and peaceful are the words that come to mind, right? And you know, said in the Course in Miracles says, you want to know if you're doing this well, ask your friends what they think about you, and if they think of peace, you're
doing
moving
good
in the right
You're doing
direction.
good.
You
If,
know,
if they're thinking, oh my God, she's always got to be right, you're probably
I know.
not doing this quite right.
I know. Yeah, you can tell. It's like, what do people say about you? You know, it's like, and you know, it's like, I do want to take action on this, you know, because I mean, I'm willing to even see progress. So I mean, I'm even willing to say, I listen. I know there's progress in my life. I realize I've started this sentence 5 times, but starting to send an email or to put something on the line and everything, because I do this all day long, responding to, I've got lawyers, you know, just like normal everyday, like subconscious writing and stuff like that. It was like, I don't actually want to put it that way. I've written this email and I have to do these things over and over and over again, but today I'm not going to actually write it that way. This is an implication of something, just the way the business speak is going and things like that. And I realized that it goes, nope, I'm going to do this different. I'm going to put something different out in. I'm going to, there's more. I think that a lot of us don't think that the actions that we can take, that actually we can. We're actually, like you were saying, we're a lot more powerful and influential than actually we think we are. You know, you used to say during the 70s and 80s, when I go, you know, smile, you never know the difference it might make. You know, there's a suicide prevention hotline thing, you know.
That's true.
Absolutely true. Like such simple things. It's like what you said, what I live and what I believe and what I see is the way I treat others in my world.
Glenn, what do you think about
good idea,
asking other folks if they want to share?
I was hoping so. That's why I lead it in with, like, you know, what do you do? I'm meeting all these people, you know. Anybody have a way this chapter 6 landed for you? We had Jesus is the Lord of the Sabbath. The 12. He sends out the 12 apostles. We had the blessed this and blessed.
Rev Yolanda wants to share. He probably won't let you speak at home either, Rev Yolanda. Go ahead.
He's got a lot to say, I have to say. And we love him for it.
Yes, we do.
It's just so cool to hear you guys really speak to practicality, you know, like how this works in this situation or that situation. I love, Jacquelyn, how you got on a roll and you were just like, and I was just like over here going, preach it. I mean, because really constantly throughout my day, I'm ready to jump on something. I'm ready, you know, to go, how dare you? Or, you know, don't you know this, that, and the other, or how, you know, in my mind, this whole conversation, you know, and it's so crazy. It's just so crazy making, you know, and the retreat was so good for me because it really did give me an opportunity to bring some tools back with me to use when my mind is doing all this. And like one of those is take it back, you know, I could take that back, you know. And for me, Glenn doesn't like me saying this word, but I think about it as it putting a distance, you know, like giving me a little distance from this crazy making that my mind does. You know, you could say it like it's a space or it's a stop or it's a pause. You said, I think you said rest with me, like you could even do that in a conversation. Like I'm thinking about, you know, conversations that I've had with my family at Thanksgiving or whatever, you know, those kind of things like that, where I did come home going, oh, why did, you know, I didn't say all that, you know, because it really didn't help. And I could have just sat there and just been like polite and giving it to God, you know, okay, what will you have me do next, you know? And, you know, so I wouldn't mind now going to a family event like that and just putting myself in that situation as practice, because that's probably the situation that most triggers me, is when I'm with my family or Glen's family. You know?
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, we both kind of have that, you know what I mean? But I don't know, you've just given me so much food for thought tonight, and I really, really appreciate it. And just Glen, that mention of how you stopped and decided to write the email differently, that is beautiful, because you're sharing with us that you can do that in any circumstance, whether you're at work or whether you're, you know, online on Twitter or whatever it is that you're doing. You have every opportunity all throughout the day to you know, make a difference. Yeah.
Let me say a couple of practical things, and the email is one of them. But the first thing I want to say is I spent a long time with the practice of not. It's about time for me to pick it up again, I think, of not expressing an opinion. Just don't. If you recognize it's an opinion, don't express it. Period. The result is you get pretty daggone quiet, but you notice that a lot of the conflict goes away. The other practice that I have spent a lot of time with is this email thing. And email is just part of it. And again, a practice that it would behoove me to pick up again here real seriously, and that is not to make anybody wrong ever, and which is what the email thing is, right? You know, if somebody says, and we've talked about it before, if they say, what's the password to that particular account? And you're like, oh, you mean the one I gave you yesterday? Here it is. I mean, that's the standard response, right? But the helpful response is, oh, here it is, even if you gave it to them 15 times. Or, you know, someone left the door open and therefore we need to go do this procedure. I mean, you've made somebody wrong when you start. You just say, we're going to start this new procedure and this is what it looks like. So really working at not expressing any opinions on the one hand and never making anyone wrong on the other hand. What are you going to experience? You're going to experience the peace of God, because you have just taken the ego. That's its whole reason for being, are those two things.
Yeah, it's also step one in NVC communication, is to not just assume, not to enter a conversation where the other person is already wrong. You know, like first thing you do is in nonviolent communication is just assume that the other, at least not assume that the other person is automatically wrong, bad, opposed to you, you know, anything like that.
I mean, you know, even if you do, but if you don't express it,
it's just better. You can at whatever stage you can manage it. If you can manage to not say it but smirk, then smirk and don't say it. If you can manage to like not say it and not smirk, don't smirk. If you can manage to not say it, not smirk, and not tense up, don't say it, don't smirk, and don't tense up. You know, so whatever thing you need to pull it back for, I'm serious.
That's the reason, but that's the reason that emails are so helpful, because you can sit with an email for a long time thinking about what you would have written. You might even write it out and then erase it. But so that's why they're good practice.
I write a collection of emails that are exactly the same because they're doing the same thing. But they have to be legal because I'm referencing very specific numbers on very specific things. Right. So there's a legal quality, like this is when this was said and when these numbers were these numbers. So
Right.
And they're this way because of things that happened that these people did and did not do. This is why the numbers look this way. So if you write an email in which nobody is wrong, I didn't realize I that became a priority to me, because I didn't even see that. I was like, okay, dear POS.
This means you.
Once again, allow me to remind you of a previous email, comma.
Once again. I think the love of your life had something she wanted to share, Glenn.
So go for it.
Oh, it wasn't that important. It was just kind of along this line of conversation. But I love this because, when you sit with an email for a minute and you erase out all of that stuff, maybe you don't even have to send the email. That's what I've, that's what I've come to lately.
It's down to 3 sentences.
Yeah.
There's no narrative. There's like no narrative.
Well, in fact, what just came in, you said it's down to 3 sentences, is that, I never get the name. Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like 3 sentences, right? Forgive
it is.
me. What are the 3 sentences? Anybody know?
I love you. Forgive me. Gosh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I love you. Forgive me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for I'm sorry.
Something like that.
I love you. I think it's sorry. Forgive me. I love you. Yeah. All right. But I can't put that in every email.
Sure you can.
No, but I do put. I don't. So it's like the structure of who I want to be, and the presence I want to exist as. Is kind of a lot what she is. I think she's talking about in chapter 6, how to manage walking through the world and with me, and as we awaken, or how do we walk in the world. But I know that Shauna probably has something she wants to add to this.
She did. She got called away. I bet it was condo business, but that's okay. Shauna?
It was a mountain lion right out in the river. Dawn saw him. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Regina saw a bear yesterday.
I heard that.
Wow.
You're completely forgiven. I would leave for a mountain lion.
I love big cats. But anyway, the stuff that gets me so excited about this is and I've read it before, but sometimes it goes in deeper, is let's see. So the mind, the ego mind, is not aware that it interprets. It believes it knows. So why do I listen to it? I mean, my God, we know that's what the mind does. It can't help itself. It just interprets. So why do I get an opinion? I feel that grip in my stomach, and then I want to defend it when I know it's an interpretation. And I know I don't want to reinforce it by defending it. And I just keep thinking, because I've had a lot of practice lately. I keep thinking, what is that? What is that? Yeah. Life does that. Thank you, God. Thank you. What is that energy in here that is fighting for something that I know is not in the best interest of all? What is that? I just look right at it and bring all the compassion and inquiry and open wonderment at what is that, and am I willing, at least willing to be willing to let that go in each moment, because that for me is how I extend the love and the peace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I always get almost done here. I always get a big kick out of, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and then do not what I said? I just love that. I'm sorry. I'll try again.
Lord, could you step in here and fix this for me?
Right.
No.
So thank you. This is great. This is a great chapter. Thank you.
It's a good reminder. He goes, oh yeah, we're best friends and everything, right? And you never take my advice. Right. We're best total besties. You
Like
never
this.
take my like this. You never take my advice. You don't return my calls, and I have to scream. No. You know.
Glenn, should we talk about moving to a new date and time?
Oh, sure. Tell everybody what we're doing.
So we're moving to a new date and time. We are moving this program to Sundays at is it 6 p.m. Eastern time?
It's a double feature of yours truly. 2 hours in the sanctuary. Hope you're able to make it.
Well, and me too, because I got the next hour after that.
Oh,
So
that's
sorry,
true.
y'all.
Oh,
But
we're overlapping. It's gonna be the Jacquelyn and Glen show on Sundays, isn't it? You know,
the time on Sunday, Arizona, is 6 p.m. Eastern.
it's after,
Right here in the sanctuary. It's right after Mighty Companions. Yep. 4 p.m. Mountain. Thank you, Shauna. And we'll just, Glenn, maybe we should talk some more about how much we want to try and cover on our.
Yeah, I don't
first
know
Sunday
that
out.
we can do much more than an actual chapter, probably.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
thing, depending on how that all is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, unless it's like chapter 8, which is like 2 paragraphs, but
yeah. So we can be flexible, but it might for a while if she continues at this pay we just did 4
it's
parables.
this meeting.
So
Yes.
there are people that there's each one of those parables, each one of those things is actually a whole collection of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sermons. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of each one of those sections. So we could have spent all day on probably the first parable.
And boy, did we want to.
Yeah, boy, did we want to.
So thank you all very much for being here and really for being there with us. And hopefully we'll see you on Sunday. We'll do this again in just a few days now, right? This coming Sunday. All right. Shauna, so thankful, so
Beautiful.
grateful.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you are fabulous. You're
guide.
fabulous for having admin for us all these bizarre times that we've been doing this program. And you just show up and do it, and we really appreciate it. So you can let somebody else admin come Sunday. Thank you all for your shares. It's just fun to hear from you, and we will remember to leave space in future programs so that you can share them as well. So, Arizona, hope to see you there. You too, Connie
You've been
Poole.
listening to Herein Lies the Peace of God with Reverend Jacquelyn Eckert and Reverend Glen Ganaway. To find out more about Jacquelyn and to donate to Awakening Together Sanctuary, go to www.awakening-together.org. To find out more about Glen and to donate to the Mighty Companions Ministries, go to www.glenganaway.com. That's GLENGANAWAY.com.
I can see peace instead of pain. Amen.
All righty. Good night, everybody. We love each and every one of you.
Hi, y'all.
See you in the oneness.